Whether you believe in creation from a supreme being, or that we evolved from primitive primates learning to stand up and utilize our thumbs, one thing is for certain. It took us a long time to get where we are today, and we most certainly adapted to our environment, learning to survive. We ascended to the top of the food chain not because of our strength or our intelligence that keeps us here, but our ability to endure and run. One could say that today we are born to run. Yet in the United States, obesity is the second leading cause of preventable death, only behind tobacco use. But there is hope. What if I told you there's a secret fix to obesity, depression, and stress? A near guarantee that almost all aspects of your life could improve from one simple task. This is the journey of movement that we as a species have been on for millennia. This is why you should run for 30 minutes a day. Before I joined the military, I was 65 pounds overweight. One day I decided to put on my running shoes and change all of that. After losing that 65 pounds, I was able to join the military, and I've kept that weight off for the last 6 years. So this is not just a sales pitch, but this is a success story on how running can absolutely change your life and redefine who you are. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about sedentary lifestyles and obesity, how physical benefits of running can help you, physical benefits from running and how that mentally affects your body and your mind, addiction in the brain and how running kind of affects both of those things, and then finally some life-changing results from running. So let's get started. As I said before, obesity is the second leading cause of preventable death in the United States each year. 65% of adult males in the United States are obese. This leads to 300,000 deaths of obesity in our country each year. In the article written by Caitlin Newman called Obesity in America, a Public Health Crisis, she said that these percentages and numbers estimated annual medical cost of obesity is $147 billion a year. This is insane. How did we get to this point? Well, before we were a digitally technological advanced society, beaming on Twitter, eyeing on Instagram, we had to hunt and gather for our food, painstakingly try to find and procure our food each day. By us hunting and gathering, we slowly got rid of a gene called the CMAH gene. Dr. Okenberg at the University of California, San Diego explains that the CMAH gene, once out of our bodies, allowed our muscles to, which produces sugar, it allowed our muscles to be able to retain more oxygen, allow our muscles to get more oxygen from our blood, and allowed our tendons and muscles to grow stronger and larger, allowing us to run faster and to be able to get our food easier. Our Achilles heel, though, is the part of our brains that developed running and helped us to become better runners, also developed our sedentary lifestyle. We kind of are shooting ourselves in the foot. It's crazy. Some of the physical benefits of running. So besides like for your bones and your muscles, we use over 200 muscles each step we take. This is amazing. And our bones, they kind of break just a little bit and then they form back together stronger. So you're literally forging your bones and making them sturdier. It improves your joint and ligament health with your knees. Some heart health, it makes you more efficient. When you push your heart to beat higher per minute during exertion, it beats lower when you're sedate. Lower blood pressure and cholesterol levels. And finally, Dr. Luca, where this information came from, his article was called 5 Ways to Improve Health from Running. He explains that you can reduce the risk of heart disease by 35 to 55%. That's almost half, guys. Anyone can do that, and it's super easy. Finally, some mental health benefits of running. We understand that there's chemicals in our brain that, or receptors in our brain that get chemicals. So you should kind of think of these as puzzle pieces, and we want to put the good pieces in and take the bad pieces out. And comfort is killing our brain. Dr. Ratley describes in his book Spark how our lack of movement is physically shrinking our brains inside of our skulls. This is crazy, but we can change this. We can also combat depression by running. 17% of adults deal with depression in our country. So that first figure of $147 billion from obesity, tack on another 26.1 billion a year in depression costs. That number also comes from Spark. So we literally could save our country billions of dollars by just putting on our running shoes and getting out there together, guys. Addiction in your brain. So imagine your brain on drugs. Dopamine is a chemical that our bodies naturally produce when we are happy. Sometimes when you have that, you think that chocolate makes you happy, or that KFC makes you happy, or sitting on the couch flipping through Netflix makes you happy. It's actually the dopamine getting dumped in your brain. But what's fascinating is Dr. Ratley explains in his book that when when human beings consume drugs, specifically cannabis, or eat chocolate, or run, all of those things dump the same chemicals into our brains. So essentially, you can feel good by running. And how this equates is they found at a halfway house. It's called the Odyssey House in New York, where they help people deal with addiction. They found that the people that came to their house seeking help that ran stayed there 50% longer and were 50% more likely to stay sober. This is just fascinating information. Finally, life-changing results. A brighter future. When you start running, when you take it one step at a time, maybe you start walking, but as you do these things, you will slowly feel better. You'll stop smoking. You'll stop drinking as much. You may eat healthier. It's also an investment of time. Dr. Ratley again explains in his book Spark that running increases productivity. They found that kids in high school that took PE in the first period and would run, that they were 17% more cognitively aware for the remaining of their classes. So imagine taking a lunch break, during our daily stress of life and work, and imagine on your lunch break you'd be able to go for a run. You would come into that meeting and for that sales pitch, and you'd be ready to go on top of it and be able to maybe sell that pitch to your boss, and it would just be a simple fix of, hey, I went for a run on my lunch. In conclusion, running is an incredible thing. It brought us to the peak of the food chain and pushes us to new limits of physical and mental ability, and it keeps us sane. I'd like to leave you with a quote from Plato. In order for man to succeed in life, God provided him with two means of education and physical activity, not separately, one for the soul and the other for the body, but for the two to be together. With these two means, man can obtain perfection. And with that, it's time to lace up your shoes and get out there. Thank you.